And welcome back to Mission Reloaded Gaming. We are here with Magikar, going over his Imperial Fleet update. Enjoy.
Alright, yeah, that's I believe all. You move over to, that ship right in front of you. Alright, that would be the ship which I made for absolutely no reason but for it to suck, actually. No joke. So this is the Furion-Class Siege Cruiser, and okay, I'm just gonna go over its stats and all, and I'll explain later why it's bad. The Furion class is an Imperial cruiser which appeared in the later part of the Great Galactic War. It was not particularly frequently used due to the ship suffering from over-specialization, being reserved for one and only purpose, conducting siege assaults on worlds, stations, ships, or similar through orbital bombardment or long-range artillery fire. This ship has more drawbacks than strong suits, which means it wasn't used in a lot of fleets, or assault fleets, I should say, and they were a priority target for Federation ships, because even though this ship was pretty bad as a ship, it still could cause a lot of damage with its bombardment. Now, it's quite large, actually. It's 140 meters long, and it's called a siege cruiser because if you go down, there are two triple laser weapons. They are, hold on, let's see, two triple L4R4. So L4R4 are like the most powerful variant of the laser weapon. And it's got add-ons and all, and it does a ton of damage, but it's only on the bottom of the ship, and there are no additional weapons at the bottom. Now, on the top of the ship, we move over to the top now. There are dual turrets. However, this ship also has a drawback that it has a low amount of normal turrets. It's got only 4 dual turrets, which is of course very very low for a ship 140 meters long. Which means that technically, like the rapier light destroyer could actually maybe kill this thing in a one-on-one fight if it doesn't really get caught in those triple gun fire. Now it's got 6 Gatling guns on the side, which is a decent amount, but they are only on the side, which means they are not very well suited for defending the ship against attacks on its, for example, bridge. As I said in the description, it's massively underarmed from the standpoint of standard weapons. Now, it's, as I said, not very durable at all for a cruiser-sized ship. It's got 3.8 million hull HP, which is almost a million less than the previous, the Impulse. It's got a very weak shield with 210,000, which is, I believe, 1/3 or almost 1/4. No, 1/3. Math 100. Almost 1/3 of the Impulse, even though Impulse is about the same size. Its maneuverability is average, about the same as the Equalizer class, which means its maneuverability is okay. Does pretty well. It's quite slow with a top speed of only 27 meters per second. It's got very slow acceleration. Yeah, so if you want to check out the large bridge, I built a bridge around I believe the actual. I'm not sure which ship this could be compared to, but it's a pretty big bridge. So yeah. Okay, if you want to go over the interior a bit to show it off. Oh. Yeah, when you're done, we can move over to that one.
This one's pretty. I like it.
Yeah, thank you. Alright, so those on YouTube who are watching and not actually not familiar with this universe, they'll probably be like, hold on, I saw this already. And yes, this is called the Revenant-Class Cruiser, and it's a late war Imperial design, which basically was caused by the Empire having issues with resources for ship production. Okay, basically, most of its naval force or space force is based around capital ships. Now, the equalizers, which are the main backbone of the fleet, are of course very powerful, but they also take quite a lot of resources. So, what the Empire did near the end of the war was strip down an equalizer, and the result of it was the Revenant-Class Cruiser. Okay, I'm gonna read off the description now. The Revenant-Class Cruiser is a ship which entered production as a result of late war Imperial issues with shipbuilding and resources. As the Empire was producing more ships than they were getting the required resources, scheduled production of ships such as the Equalizer was halted. The designers of the Equalizer proposed a new stripped-down version of the ship, which featured a hangar bay, which even though it does make the ship quite larger in terms of, I believe, height, it actually has a less HP because all of this armor, which is now which is now gone because of the hangar bay, was previously filled with just pure armor. That's because that's why the Equalizer is so tanky. But this hangar bay is pretty decent. It's got four slots, fighters. I may reduce this to 3, or I may just keep this so it has bombers. We'll see. Or actually, you know what? With every ship with hangars, I'm gonna just let the player who uses the ship in a battle change the number of maglocks for whatever he/she wants. Okay, so what was changed? It's got a slightly larger engine array. The interior of the ship is pretty much identical to the Equalizer, and its exterior is the same, and its firepower was significantly nerfed. The main thing about its firepower that was nerfed is, if you look at the turret, all of the triple turrets on the Equalizer were now replaced, were stripped down to dual turrets. Basically, one barrel was removed of each of them. This still meant the ship has had a very powerful weapons array. This is still wait, how much exactly? Yeah, it's the same as the Equalizer, but as I said, they were stripped down. Now it had 6 6-point fence guns. Its broadside weapons, which on the Equalizer were 26 guns, just as powerful as the broadside guns. So those 26 guns were removed, replaced with a combination of 12 trench turrets, 8 L2R1 laser cannons, and 4 B2 beam ion turrets, which means how much? Total of 6 guns per side. So instead of 13 per side, it's now 6, with 4 laser weapons and 2 beam weapons. And those beam weapons fire, of course, blue beams, which is very useful for this ship, as it can actually fight against heavily shielded ships more effectively. That thing you're looking at right now are also torpedo tubes, which I added. Hold on. I didn't actually put it in the description, but basically they are like the same torpedoes I put on the Impulse class. It's, I believe, 8 of them. 10. I'm blind. There's 5. So yeah, there's 10 torpedoes in one salvo. And yeah, that is pretty much all about this ship. Its hull HP is now at 7.3 million, because before it was at, I believe, 7.7. And it doesn't really make much of a difference, but still, it's a difference out there. Yeah, okay, you can go over the interior a bit if you want, and then we'll move to the flagship of the new fleet.
And thank you for joining us. Please tune in next time with the next episode. We dive into more of the Imperial fleet.